A little cold. Hey, you friends, family, and strangers. Today, we are on day one of a 4-day road trip to visit the 10 cascading Ohio beauties. That is, the 10 Ohio waterfalls. Now, I understand there are more than 10 waterfalls in Ohio. However, only 10 have been featured in the outdoor issue of Ohio Magazine, and we're going to visit all 10 of them just for fun. Tomorrow, we will visit 4. We'll check 4 off of our list. Today, however, only 1. But before we do that, I'm pretty sure we should climb this tower. So please, gather your things and hop in the truck. This is the Aerial Foundation Park in Mount Vernon, Ohio. And if you want to be here on a day where you get the entire park to yourself, except for that guy way over there, all you have to do is show up on a very rainy, overcast Sunday. I guess people don't like coming to the park on an overcast, rainy Sunday, which is ironic because that is the absolute most perfect day to be outside exploring new or familiar places. I love the rain. There's a name for that. And I love overcast days. It's perfect. Not too hot. Kind of cool. You can see everything without being blinded. All your shots look better in your camera, believe it or not, on overcast days. And I love the freedom of moving about by my damn self. The Raston Observation Tower. The historic chimney is the highest structure in Knox County, Ohio, and has been a landmark for residents and air traffic since completion. This chimney served PPG from 1951 to its closing in 1976 and was constructed of reinforced concrete by the slip form method. To preserve it as part of the ruins, a determination was made that it should be preserved as an observation tower. The tower is 280 feet high and the observation deck is 140 feet, and there are 224 steps to the top. Enjoy the view and your debilitating fear of heights. The tower is closed at night and all winter long. I don't think I've ever been up here in the winter, and I'm pretty sure that's why. But anyways, we are here. I am deathly terrified of heights, and not even 200 feet doesn't seem that bad until you get up here. This is way too high for my comfort. We are higher than Snoop Dogg right now. I'm afraid of heights. It feels good to be back on Earth. I'm uncomfortable about the 3rd or 4th floor of a building. So this is beautiful Mount Vernon, Ohio. Ariel Foundation Park. Off in the distance that way is an awesome lake, which we'll not be visiting today. There's the geese, the best bird God ever made, the big territorial honky goose. Look at this. Look at these lines, how they done up the dirt there to create the effect, and that happens all throughout the park. See all that? And the wind is whipping up here. Can you see my car down there in the parking lot by itself, the Lone Ranger, here on a rainy, overcast day to do God's work. This is the other half of Mount Vernon, Ohio. Luckily, there's not enough time to be up here farting around. I hate every second of this. Let's go back down. This button for in and out exists only to maintain an X number of occupants. For safety, there should not be more than too much on the tower. That scared the pee out of me. Let's go find a restroom. The restrooms are for private event guests only. And if it's locked, I'm assuming that means there's not a private event here today. If you ain't flopping, you ain't topping me tonight. Even better, they had porta-johns. Always, always, always travel with butt wipes. Clean your hands with, or to wipe your butt with. Whatever the day calls for. Now, I know you're anxious to see today's waterfall, but we have one more stop before we get there. Let's do it. I'll miss you, Mount Vernon, Ohio. Mount Vernon is home to one of the strangest crime stories in U.S. history, by the way. Once upon a time, there was a dude that abducted a chick, held her captive in his basement, and and also filled that basement with leaves. And I believe, if I remember right, he ended up sticking her corpse into a tree near his house. He was like on the outskirts of town and had access to the woods or whatever, but he lived right in town, sidewalk and everything, in Mount Vernon, Ohio. And he told investigators the reason he filled his house and basement with leaves and put her in a tree is because he was obsessed with trees. I skipped breakfast this morning because I knew I would be passing by one of my favorite places on earth, the Buckeye Express Diner. See the train? I'm starving. I'm here for a Woody Burger and some fries, but you know me, I never miss the chance to pop in on one of my best friends, Stumpy Hamburgers, the world's tallest bobblehead doll. Even though my little waiting number was a baseball, the Buckeye Express Diner is all about OSU football. My burger, the Woody Burger, is actually named after Wayne Hayes, the OSU coach for a few years that everybody loved, who died when I was 1 year old in '87. But anyways, before we go, I want to remind you that we will soon be camping out here at the Buckeye Express Diner and spending the night. For a guy with no hands, you whip up one badass hamburger. Until next time, my friend. We have arrived to the site where number 10 in Ohio Magazine is. That is Big Lions Falls. And right beside it is Little Lions Falls, which is not in the magazine, but we will definitely check it out. Along with this thing behind me, which I believe is Pleasant Hill Dam. And much to my surprise, this bridge is open for foot traffic. Pleasant Hill Dam. No trespassing, or you'll have the U.S. government on you. This dam is incorporated by the Flood Control Act of 1939 and the Comprehensive Plan of the Corps of Engineers, U.S. Army, for alleviation of floods in the Ohio River Basin. Pretty cool. This thing can drain 199 square miles of land to prevent a flood. There's just no better glory than good old morning glory. If you have a life preserver, wear it. I hope you're not afraid of snakes. Please do not put trash in the toilet. It is extremely difficult to remove. And keep in mind, I suck. This is the other side of the dam, which is much more pretty. I wonder who mows this. Daylight hours only here, no rock climbing, and certainly no rappelling. We are going to head up that sketchy trail. The 1 mile to Big Lions Falls. And before we hit Big Lions Falls, we should see Little Lions Falls. Let's find out. Of course, you are out of your mind to hike with proper shoes on. You should definitely only do so in flip-flops. And don't fall off the ledge. My legs already feel like jello. And I'm only like 3 minutes into this climb so far. I take it back, they do have rock climbing and rappelling here. Oh, wait a minute, it says prohibited. Walking toward the falls now and pointed my camera down this direction. And some lady who was hiking blended in perfectly, so I had my camera right on her for a while and didn't even realize it. And she looked pissed. I'm about a half mile from Little Lions Falls, and I'm surprised no one's out here but me on this particular trail. Kind of reminds me of hiking through Daniel Boone National Forest in Kentucky. Took about 3 or 4 hours, I think, to hike to this massive waterfall. And we were pretty much the only ones on the trail until we got to the waterfall. There was about 30 people there who had hiked there from all different directions in the forest, in the national park. And we all just kind of sat there and ate lunch in silence, catching our breath. It was kind of like a meeting of strangers, but it felt like people you knew, because we were all there for the same waterfall. Don't have to tell me twice. This seems like a pretty good place to snag up a citation. Any hikers off the designated trails, climbing hillsides, or climbing on any rock structure is subject to a citation. Little Lions Falls is a waterfall that you can only stand on top of, and you can see it as you approach it. Not so much when you're above it or walking away. I keep wanting to call it Little Diomede Falls for Little and Big Diomede Island, which is in between Alaska and Russia. But no, these are not islands. Little Diomede, Big Diomede Islands, these are waterfalls. And speaking of that, let's go see Big Lions Falls now. This wall is the bottom of a tree. Remember, what goes up must come down. I might be on a brand new trail right now because the park has marked it, as you see right here, but the GPS has not. We have arrived at Creepy Hollow, a very dark little spot on this hill that's so shaded and dark on this cloudy day, it's pretty creepy. There are the sketchiest of sketchy sounds out here. Did you hear that one? I feel like I'm in a Michael Crichton movie. It's only been a mile since Pleasant Hill Dam. If you were me, you would just keep going that way, right? Well, I'm glad I didn't for very long and turned around, because the trail curves and goes up there. See the marker? No signage to indicate such. Kinda sketchy. And my glasses are fogging over because it's so hot and wet out here. It's like my Saturday nights out here. Hot and wet, baby. I do believe we may have arrived. Looks familiar. I wonder if I've been here when I was a kid. I don't know what did this, but looks pretty awesome. Is this the claw marks of Godzilla? A little cold. This couple behind me, who I think is on a date because they're talking all nice to each other, said, "I can't believe you're wearing flip-flops out here." I said, "Hey, You gotta do what you gotta do. There is a covered bridge coming up if I don't miss my turn. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has a better view of the city. Douche. This covered bridge had better be worth it, because it's quite a detour, and I'm over it. I swear it's getting darker out by the minute, but it's only like 3:20. So you may be asking yourself, how can water start back there and flow this way if it's all plugged up with that dam? I think that has something to do with the underwater aquafina ducts or something. I am now foiling my glasses around, trying to air dry them because my shirt's wet, so can't use that. I can't see. My battery's dying in my phone, and I can't get a signal to load the GPS. But the sun is coming back out. I hear the sounds of civilization. Or should I say, in this case, this being the United States, uncivilization. This sign talks about Ice Age remnants of Mohican, which is the park we're in. Here's a big, beautiful covered bridge. Definitely not a remnant of the Ice Age, but still pretty cool. This is what it looks like when I walk through a covered bridge. Apparently, I have reached one of the best spots on the trail. I guess I'll just have to come back because I really wish I had more time to check out the fire tower. That was number 10 that we visited first. That was Big Lions Falls. And I'm assuming the rest are better, because that one was just a trickle. Given it didn't rain as much as I had hoped, but the fact that it's so tall makes it kind of stand out among the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So here we are, the beautiful river beside me. It's about a mile walk to the car from here. Let's do it. For the last several minutes I've been walking completely alone out here, and I walked right up on a fisherman, and he wasn't making a sound. I was kind of looking at the ground, and I looked up, and there he was. And we both about scared the stink bait out of each other. He gave a nice, big, friendly wave and smile, and I did the same. And I think the reason why people do that out here, I've noticed people do that out here, they give a nice big smile and wave. I'm guessing it's because they don't want to get murdered. They want to immediately say, whoa, speaking of dying, they're trying to say, hey, won't kill you, so don't kill me. I don't speak crow, but I think someone is pissed. I finally made it to the hotel. Please be advised that the water is subject to sudden rise and turbulence. I thought turbulence was something you experience in an airplane, but apparently I was wrong. If I hadn't had my glasses in my hand when I stuck my big dopey head under that waterfall, then I could actually use them. They wouldn't be wet. and I could be able to see where the water's coming from. I know it's not coming through the dam, but it's coming from under and around it in some kind of man-made apparatus. Let's go find out. As you can see, that giant tunnel back there, the house of Pennywise the Clown, is where the water's coming from. It's coming from up over that hill where that lake is. And of course, I would never give up my opportunity to walk up 10,000 steps. This is a place you may wish to go sledding in the winter. Just be careful, because you might end up in the river. Just past some others on the steps here, and I can tell you, a lot of people say hi. Others pretend you do not exist. We are back where we started. Like 3 hours ago when I went up into there and disappeared into the woods. So what'd you think of Waterfall 10 on the list of 10 in Ohio Magazine? Tomorrow we are visiting Waterfall 7, 5, 8, and 6 on the list. So, thanks for hanging with me today. I hope I showed you some stuff you wouldn't normally see, and I hope I've entertained you just enough to make you stick around. And just a couple miles down the road from the Great Waterfalls is this, the Mohican State Park Lodge and Conference Center. While you're here, feel free to enjoy our tennis courts, lakeside trails, lakeside gazebo, volleyball court, and basketball court. Reminds me of some of the woodsy lodges I frequented as a child with family and friends. You know, here's a place to contemplate your life. Merry Christmas. I don't know if you know this about me, but I never miss the chance to climb 10,000 stairs. And if that gazebo's too much for you to handle, they do offer the mini zebo. I'm assuming some people got hitched right in here. I'll tell you what, I am tired and weary. I could really use a meal and a shower. Why don't I go ahead, pop in here for the night. The Mohican Park Lodge and Conference Center. Hey, you, friends, family, and strangers. We are on day 2 of our trip all around Ohio, doing what I was advised not to do, and that is go chasing waterfalls. That's right. We're on day 2. We're going to go see 4 more of the 10 Ohio Magazine waterfalls. But before we do that, we should probably clean out this car. That'll do, diabetes. That'll do. As you can see by the signage, free vacuums, no purchase necessary. I can feel barely anything. But what do you expect from a free vacuum? I tried the one beside it, and it sucks a lot better. The old switcheroo. So that one right there sucked really good, and this one over here sucked at sucking. By the way, today's soundtrack is The Spin Doctors. After all that cleaning, nature did call, and I had to answer that call. And when I went in there, Turkey Hill, the food smelled so good, it talked me right in to spending almost $4.50 for a little breakfast calzone thing. But you know what? As much free vacuuming as I've done, that's okay. And I went ahead, for the first time in history, decided to get a drink that actually helped my body instead of take away from it. A naked drink is more likely to help you want to appear naked somewhere as your body improves. Although this probably has a lot of sugar and stuff too. What are you gonna do, huh? This is actually a stromboli, which I thought was something that cleans ice. It's basically a giant pretzel with breakfast inside of it. We've made it, kinda, because there's no place to park. But anyways, we are at number 6 in Ohio Magazine, and that is Hayden Falls, located in Dublin, Ohio, which is a suburb of Columbus. Hang on, it's me, Dig. Here's a man out fishing all by his lonesome, just enjoying the day. Kind of like me, fishing for a good video. I don't know where we're going, but this looks like the way. I think I hear the sound of a mighty rushing water. I found that one immediately and was able to take my pictures immediately. Something tells me the other 3 on today's leg is not going to be that easy. See all those cars? They're not in parking spaces. Neither am I. This is kind of a, what you would call, free-for-all. We have arrived to our second stop on day 2. That is waterfall number 8 in the magazine. See that? The 10 waterfalls? We're hitting them up. Number 8, Charleston Falls. Hunting is totally legal here as long as you have a permit and are only hunting shrooms. However, flower picking is unlawful. Everything appears to be under a mile. And somewhere up here, there is a tower. So, let's see. This must be the calm before the storm, because when I first came in at the trailhead, there was like 3 different huge groups of really loud, obnoxious, giggling, laughing, yelling people. There is a crap ton of people here today, so to find those small little moments when I can take my shots without a bunch of really loud, annoying people, it's hard to do, but I'm doing it because we're Ghostbusters. This looks like a track for a really cool mountain coaster. I should be riding this, not walking. And we were right there. There was the falls, and I guess we're here already. There was supposed to be an observation tower over here. I don't see no tower, dude. I'm pretty sure that was a scam. You had me at parking lot. I forgot the bug repellent in the car, so the whole time I'm walking through this field, I'm like, I wish I was a horse, had a big old whipping tail. Well, so far that trail through the field has led me to nowhere except this gazebo. Check this out, babe. With a party deck, bruh. See this? And do you see this? Nothing. Same thing on this brochure, but up here, what's it say? Observation tower. And we walked that trail, and guess what? Nary an observation tower was found. All right, let's head to number 5 on the list, the West Milton Cascades. Took an hour to get here from the fall in Dublin, but the next one we're going to from here, luckily, it's only 20 minutes away. You know, part of the reason you may watch this is so you don't have to get in your car and spend your day and your gas to get to all these spots. But this really won't apply in the future. In the future, you'll be able to type it in, touch a button on your phone or on your forearm, and a passenger drone will be right there on your doorstep. You'll step inside, sit down, hold onto the handlebars, and like lightning, it'll zip you up off the earth and it'll fly you to the address you put in, and it'll be so fast and private and comfortable and easy. And the only thing that'll slow you down is maybe bad weather, which in that case your drone will just fly around the storm. But for now, you're stuck in this car with me. Whoa. Almost missed the turn, baby. Don't do it. Damn squirrel. A beautiful 4-lane, perfectly paved road with a huge middle lane out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. We have just entered Nashville. No, not the one you're thinking of. Nashville, Ohio. We have arrived at the West Milton Municipal Park, and it's time now to search for the West Milton Cascades. That way is the town. The article said to come through the park to see the falls. There was what sounded like 2 gunshots over here, followed by immediate laughter and applause. So hopefully those gunshots were good things. And you know me, I never miss a chance to climb up 10,000 steps. Do not climb the fence, as they used to say in Nam. The park is being recorded today for a Duggalo Nation travel video, as you can see by the signage. There was a group of people coming up the hill over there that were looking at their phones and saying, "This says we're basically right on it." So either they're looking for the same waterfall I am, or they're playing Pokemon Go. Hello, I'll take a map to the falls and a snow cone, please. Persistence pays off, my friends, because there's the coordinates right there. And apparently, it's right over there. Well, the GPS coordinates I found on that website lead to this parking lot. So, never mind, I guess. The pictures of it look cool, though. As my shins push through these nettles and get toe up, this path might only exist because enough people were confused by the info they read online and walked back here to make sure for themselves. I've now walked way into the woods on a very unmaintenanced trail. I've had to knock giant spiders right out of their web just to get back here. I'm pretty sure there's either not a waterfall back here or there's a much easier way to get to it, and I totally missed it. Can't see a waterfall, but you can. Get on that bus and take you a canoe ride. Way over here on the opposite corner of the park, there does appear to be a map. Let's see if we can get lucky. I see trails, but I see absolutely nothing about a waterfall. I'll sit in here and take one last look at some maps and see what I can come up with. But if I can't, then this one's a bust. At least someone made the best out of it and had some nasty little Caesar's pizza. Maybe I should just drown my sorrows in some McDonald's. West Milton McDonald's. No Waterfalls. I couldn't get pickles on my McChicken, and I'm not allowed another refill. But they did serve me a delicious burger. I finally found the waterfall I've been looking for. You want to see it? I'll show it to you. Might as well. Came all this way and looked around for 2 hours for no reason. Here it is. All right, on to the next one. Okay, we're here at the last stop of the day. Fingers crossed, this one ends up a little bit better than the last stop. Because if not, we're going home at 50% success rate. Once again, all I've done is go to the exact address provided in the article in Ohio Magazine. So let's hope this one is correct. Just remember, don't get caught swimming and don't eat yellow snow. This one might be my favorite so far in this whole trip. One, it's actually here at the address provided in the magazine, and it's really loud, really wide, very active, the most so far. And my favorite, I get it all to myself. By the way, if I didn't tell you, this is in Ludlow Falls, Ohio. This one's actually here, so come check it out. That wraps it up for today. 3 out of 4, I'll take it. Can't remember whether we're going up or down tomorrow, but those are our only 2 options. Sit tight, because tomorrow we're doing this again. We got more to see on the list of the 10 waterfalls featured in Ohio Magazine. Friends, family, and strangers, what's going on? It's me again and stuff. It is day 3 of our epic quest to go chasing waterfalls all around this beautiful, flat, extremely humid, disgusting, stifling state of Ohio. So we're headed back up northeast, but we're going to go a lot farther than last time we went that direction to fulfill leg 3 of our journey. So please gather your crap, jump in the truck, and let's do it. We have arrived, and in just a few moments I will show you number 1 on the list of the 10 Ohio waterfalls featured in the outdoor issue of Ohio Magazine, and that is Brandywine Falls. And I'll let the images speak for themselves.
ये भी ऊँचा ही है।
let's stop in and take a look at number 9 on our list, Chagrin Falls. But before that, I'm really craving a Coca-Cola.
4.5 miles. Take a slight left turn onto Bentleyville Road.
So apparently in order to find Chagrin Falls, you have to find Chagrin Falls Popcorn Shop. And if it's not too crowded, we'll check out both. I hear water. Hey, you friends, family, and strangers. Today we are on leg 4 of our epic quest to go chase waterfalls all around beautiful Ohio. Our last day on the 4-day journey to go see The 10 Waterfalls featured in Volvio magazine. See? Wouldn't lie to you. And I'm kind of happy that the trip wraps up today. Not because it wasn't fun. Not because I don't enjoy the falls and the beautiful pictures I can get with them. But because it's just a little too hot and sticky and gross in Ohio right now. So perhaps I'll do it again in a 2-day shot in the fall. But until then, gather your things, hop in the truck, and let's do it. Today's soundtrack is High Infidelity by REO Speedwagon. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a trip into Hocking Hills just wouldn't flow right without first stopping at the Old Dutch Restaurant. Not too many people here parked in front of the restaurant, which is fantastic. And that is because I'm here on a random weekday at high noon. I thought I would offend somebody potentially in the Old Country Restaurant with my Child's Play 2 shirt, but actually one of the hostesses said, "I love your shirt." Do you know what me and that hostess love other than this shirt? That is the chance to get us some antiques. The fun thing about antique shops is not the fact that stuff is old, but the fact that stuff is unique. Such as a mystery box, item 103. This half of the mystery box is $5.95, but this half is $9.95. Someone is definitely trying to sell their entire Toby Keith album collection. About half of these in both piles are Toby Keith. Even his Christmas music. I would love to buy the big boy, but I don't walk around with $1,000 on me. So just buy Jimmy Carter instead? See you later. No, you are not. I gotta bring one in. Oh, I'll be back. I got no barrel. I sold a barrel. Oh, cool. I do love all things Squatch, but these have been ruined with Bingy's logos. Here is what would have been a $300 Longaberger basket with liner and protector, now valued at $10. I still get tons of comments on my Longaberger video. The Mansfield Reformatory, Ohio Reformatory in Mansfield, aka Shawshank Prison, is on my list. We will be there soon. Where that movie, if you didn't know, was shot. I didn't know Ronald Reagan won American Idol. About an hour later, I got out of that store with only 12 bucks spent. Did pretty good for me. On to some waterfalls, hopefully. But before we do that, let's gather up another helpful handful of pamphlets and brochures here at the Hocking Hills Visitor Center. Look, I found the first waterfall of the day. If you have never heard of a pencil sharpener museum, the time is now. Apparently, it's a small room filled to the brim with pencil sharpeners. A good friend of mine growing up had that exact Tasmanian devil pencil sharpener in his bedroom, and we used it. These, of course, were a lot of the common ones in classrooms when I was at Sherman's. And basically, getting up to sharpen your pencil was more about getting out of your seat and waking yourself back up than it was actually sharpening your pencil. My favorite thing about the Pencil Sharpener Museum is the wonderful air conditioning. That's a relief. You might have earned extra credit in school if you had a pizza slice pencil sharpener, if you had 12 pizza slice pencil sharpeners. Then you were the best student ever. One of the problems I'm having with this particular day of filming is that there's too many odd things to stop and look at, such as whatever that is. The world's most odd-looking dam. And damn what a dam it is. And do you see that? That is called dark, still water, which is literally what my first name, Douglas, means. Douglas means dark, still water. And my last name, which is not Nation, which some people think it is. My last name actually in real life is Crabtree, which means cantankerous neighbor. We are finally at our first waterfall of the day. As you know, yesterday we stopped with waterfall number 9 on the list. But today we're starting it off with number 2, and that is Upper Falls of Old Man Caves. Let's go check it out. Damn it. I even brought my swim trunks. Can you hear that car alarm in the distance? I know it's not my car because my horn hasn't worked on that Ford Focus ever. So there you have it. That is number 2 on the list. Upper Falls at Old Man Caves, or something like that. I would love to explore that bridge over there, but access denied. You know me, I never pass up the chance to climb 10,000 steps. Somewhere in that direction there was supposed to be Old Man's Cave, which, if I remember right, is a big cave you can walk inside of. Plenty of people stepped over the rope and kept going. Not me. I don't need to learn the hard way why it was closed off. I'm not here for caves anyways. I'm here for water, baby. I highly advise you to pause and read this story.
It's my yearly break-in.
Let's wander into this building and see if we can find some water that doesn't taste like hot plastic. That's happened about one time in my life.
Thank you. Thank you.
There is one more waterfall on the list that is in this same park, and that is Lower Falls at Old Man's Cave. You know me, I never miss the chance to climb 10,000 stairs. I guess I should have actually looked in the magazine to see if Lower Falls was listed at a whole different address. And I could have just drove there. But hey, what are you gonna do, huh? Look, if I can do all these trails in flip-flops plus a hot turd in the chamber, you can too. So come on down to Hocking Hills State Park, which is in the Hocking Hills region of Ohio, and visit Old Man Caves. Hey kids, want to go ahead and add 3 more miles onto today's venture? Maybe some other time. See that pea trickle behind me? I want to stand under it so bad because it is hot and gross out here. You know me, I never miss the chance to climb 10,000 stairs. So either they built 2 welcome centers or it loops around. Was that you or me? I'm gonna start calling this park the land of steps. It's every shot. There's steps going up and steps going down. Every shot. Every shot I take, there's a crap load of steps and I'm out of breath 'cause I'm old and fat. As much as I do feel safe, in reality, this sketchy cliff stone step stuff, cliffstone step stuff, is actually not that safe. If you lived close by and walked this entire trail up all these steps every day, you would be more fit than the Marines. Right now, it appears that this is the end. However, I've been following signs, so let's see if it goes somewhere. Did the sign back there not say visitor center? But this one just says, don't do it, bro. Don't do it, bro. What a great place for a drinking fountain. If only. This is getting extra sketch up here. In order to keep going, I have to crawl through there on the side of this cliff. And since that's not happening, I think I'm walking the entire way back. So up this way, where I just was, I did not notice at all, obviously, that you could go into that black hole. And since there's zero signage, I went straight. The ceilings are really low right here. This is a head smasher for sure. And of course, zero lights. I don't even know where the steps are at this point. There's a light at the end of this tunnel. Shine the light at the end of this tunnel for me. So I'm standing here inside of the earth with what used to be that way and what will be that way. And I stopped here to take a couple pictures. Then I realized I was in no hurry because there's a little tiny cool breeze that comes through here. And my eyes have adjusted just a little bit where I don't think I'm going to be eaten by a cave monster like I originally thought I was going to. We made it. Once again, zero signage to say which way you're supposed to go. You really would have to hike here often to have a clue what these signs are talking about. As you saw, I just came up the long, creepy cave stairwell. As soon as I got to the top, there was a giant sign right in front of my face that said, "Wrong way, do not enter." I thought perhaps that was BS, so I kept going. And quickly found this one that says, "Stay on trail one way." Well, you know me. I do love a good guessing game. So why not? Some of the waterfalls on this list have been like that. Some have been underneath popcorn shops in a congested little downtown village. Who knows? And the most beautiful thing in this entire park, sugar and salt. I try not to be someone who complains all the time, but this needs to be said about this particular park. Hocking Hill State Park at Old Man Caves. There are 3 or 4 trailheads that say one-way trail starts here. But there is 0 in the signage to indicate, and really the maps are confusing too. All the one-way trails merge together eventually, and they all end up right back here, kind of where you start. And there's only one visitor center, apparently, and none of the signage indicates that little fact. When they say plenty to discover at this park, I think what they mean is you'll have no clue what's going on until you just figure it out on your own as you waste half your day. And since it takes an hour and a half for me to get here, with that said, I think I'll walk the one-way trail one more time. One good thing about being lost out here until you eventually discover the hard way, the layout, is that you can kind of walk fast your second time through and completely pass up really loud, annoying groups like the one behind me. I don't know if I can call this my favorite park of the 4-day venture out here chasing waterfalls. But it might be by definition because this is the first one that I have volunteered to take a second trip through. This looks familiar. That's the way I went last time, and this is the way I did not go last time. Well, there's one definite good thing about doing it twice, is you can take a whole different route to capture a whole different part of your video. That group behind me asked me if they could go down through the creepy tunnel, and I told them, yeah, you have to. And there's another one coming up that veers off to the left toward the end. And I was talking about the first way I went. As soon as I said that, I passed them, and they watched me go this way, which is a separate route. So if they keep following me, they're going to get lost, just like I am right now. So I turned around so I could come back to this, which is where I'm familiar. And that same group, as soon as they saw me, they must have identified me as their guide from last time. They said, oh my God, there he is. And they asked me if they were going the right way. And I said, I think this is a shortcut, but if you want to go the other way, like I'm about to go, it'll give you the full panoramic. They so thought I was a local, which tends to happen to me on these trips. So basically, if you want to come to the Hocking Hills State Park, go to the big visitor center building. It's 2 stories tall. It's how you know you're in the right place. Apparently there's only one. Go right out through the front of it, follow the one-way trail, and keep following the signs that say Lower Falls. And that takes you right back to the same building after about 11 hours of hiking. And go up the steps and go through the caves. And remember, the one cave step thing, scary thing, veers off to the left, because if you go straight, you fall off a cliff. And who knows, maybe one day they'll add signs to let you know that. But until then, you got me. I should just buy a big passenger van and offer tours from my town, clear down here, through this particular trail, and then back home. You can park your car in my driveway. I'll provide lunch. You bring your own Capri Suns. I did feel like a big D-bag when I passed up about 4 groups of people, because before you can pass them, for a couple minutes, you got to walk right behind the last person, which is very uncomfortable for them. But see, I thought people were more like me. If someone was up that close, you would just pull over. Hocking Hills State Park at Old Man Caves. A park you'll walk through once completely confused, then walk through again just to say you got the chance to walk through it without being confused. Whew. Definitely bring a backpack filled with ice and water. So here's that cave I was talking about. Again, the one we already saw. But I figured this time we'd go through it in one long shot. But keep ducked down the entire time, because the ceilings in some parts are very low. And some parts have completely missing handrails. So give your eyes time to adjust. You could cheat and bring a flashlight, but that would take away some of the about to die at any moment experience. What I do for you. What I do for you. If you gave tours at this park, you'd be in such good shape. That was fun. Let's never do that again. They should put a splash park up in front of the big visitor center with sprayers and misters and drinking fountains. Just charge $1 for people to walk through it. They would make a fortune. I'd have already spent $10 by now. I ran into that group a third time. And they were saying, I have no idea where we're at. And several groups along that second run, I've noticed, since I'm actually aware of people around me this time, are saying the same thing. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know where this trail goes. Anyways, I ran into that same group again for the third time, and I told them, right in front of you is the visitor center where you started. And they said, oh, we took a big loop. And I said, yeah, but make sure you get back to the start point before 5 o'clock. Because your chances of nice cold drinking water out of the fountain go away at 5 o'clock. The visitor center is now closed, biatch. Luckily, there's really hot, super intense plastic tasting water in my car. Okay, last but not least is number 3 on our list, Cedar Falls. It is right down the road from the park we were just at. So I'm here already, and that feels nice. The only problem is the address that Ohio Magazine gives kind of dumps you off in the middle of nowhere. So you have to kind of assume that you can park here where I parked, and hopefully you can walk to where this is. So I want to go ahead and implore the help of good old Google Maps for this one, boys and girls. A thing of pure beauty. Note to self, come back and explore this 4th day, aka these 3 waterfalls, in the late fall or winter when it is nice and crisp out. Because this humidity and this heat is annoying. But anyways, I thought I would give you a little sneak a peek at the wedding gazebo before I head that way to Cedar Falls. At least that's where I think it is. Hard telling, can't get a signal out here, which is probably a good thing. We're a little too plugged in these days, right? I thought about editing out all the parts where I am lost and complaining about being lost, to make it seem like I am your legendary tour guide. But, that would take away from the authenticity, wouldn't it? If I run into that same group that I ran into 3 times at Old Man Caves, I'm going to accuse them of stalking me at this point. Or ask for their number, become lifelong friends. Either way, it could go either way. So I guess we will follow the yellow trail, Cedar Falls Trail. This apparently is where I'm at now. We will pass Queer Creek and go right back down to the exit, which should bring us, I don't know, I guess down the road again and have to walk back up. Since we are following the Cedar Falls Trail, which is yellow, in this case, we will disregard any indications of purple and blue and follow the yellow brick road, which goes this way. We have finally, after 4 long days, made it to our last waterfall on the list. We do need some rain in order for this particular waterfall to shine, but you know what? I'll take it. It's still beautiful in its own way. After seeing that giant snapping turtle, I would say the no swimming rule here is a pretty good rule. The only good thing about being this close to the waterfall is that I am in a ton of people's pictures right now. But hey, I've had to put up with that all day, so why not? Doesn't that make you just want to go to Comfort Inn, Splash Harbor, and Bellevue and just sit under the waterfall and fall asleep in a nice chlorine shower? It's time to say goodbye to our last waterfall. Bye, little trickle. It's been good. It's been long. It's been tedious. It's been hot. It's been sweaty. And it has been cardio aerobic. Again, follow the yellow brick road and don't bump your head. This is the part of the show we call Crouching Hiker Hidden Enthusiasm. Before this rock leans and falls one way or the other, let's hike around it real quick. And you know me, I never miss the chance to ascend 10,000 steps. All 10/9 waterfalls in 4 days. Not the best choice I ever made. But, hey, what are you gonna do? We made it. So thank you very much for taking this 4-day hike/road trip with me. It has been fun and hot. I will never do that again, but I will come back to some of these locations on individual or passing by trips. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video and want to see more, be sure to smash that like button, drop kick the subscribe button, and tell all your buddies about my new content. We're posting one every day. A little cold.